$1,000 a month, or a lot more than that, obviously is being made with it works. How is that possible? You hold up this little cloth and you look at it and you go, how? How can you make it with that? Well, think about supply and demand. Let me put it in terms that we all know, especially those of us that have kids. Let me sing this for you and see if it you know what this is. If I were happen to go, let it go, let it go. Y'all feel me? You want to just stab the little snowman in the snow, right? It drives you crazy. Y'all know about Frozen up here, right? Does it get cold in Canada? Y'all know about Frozen even if you don't know about the movie, but this movie is everywhere. All of a sudden, you know when the fad is starting to slow a little bit, because then they come out with Frozen on ice, right? And they go and they start doing all the little shows. But how many of y'all heard of the movie, right? You know about Frozen. How many of you have bought something with Frozen on it for your kids, right? How many of y'all have the wig and they make you wear it? I feel you. That Elsa or Anna, man, I got that blonde wig on and I'm right there with them. And we do it, and we spend hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on DVDs, on pictures, on coloring books, on backpacks, going back to school, on the wigs, on the dress, on everything Frozen. Would you agree there's a big demand for Frozen? There's a big demand for that. And whether you want it or not, your kids do, so you find a way to make them happy. Or at least shut them up from asking, right? Sometimes it's just easier to get it for them. You know, don't ask me about parenting. I can teach you how to make money. Don't ask me how to parent them. But the point is, there's a demand for that. Who's supplying that demand? Disney. Everything Frozen, Disney makes it. Disney supplies it. So you understand supply and demand now in terms that we understand. So you think about, how does that relate to it works? Well, how many of you looked in the mirror before you came here? Now, some of y'all should have. Just kidding. Think about that. Too many times, the most obvious things are hidden right in front of us, in plain sight. You at least look in the mirror before you go down in the car, make sure there's nothing in your nose or in your teeth or whatever, right? You may say that's just normal, but I think that most people do it because they want to look good. Because if we look good, we what? Feel good. You already know this stuff. It's obvious. It's obvious. People will go out and spend hundreds of dollars to go get Botox because they want to look good. They feel it makes them look good. I've got no problem with that. Now, I don't know, y'all have malls around here and they have teeth whitening in the malls, right? They have that here? So that's just normal in the world now. People would never thought about putting teeth whitening in the mall. Like, that's why you go to the dentist, not when you're going to Gap. I mean, think about that. Isn't that weird? That's vanity. People want to get their teeth whitened in the mall, and everybody walks by you, and you got that little thing on and a little light, and it's embarrassing, really. But people will do it. And they spend money to do it. In Florida, where we live, you can go to the mall and get Botox. Seriously. They call it Bo on the Go. It's crazy. I think it's great. People will stand there and literally watch them. They put the needles in. I'm just watching. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is happening. Right? My wife's like, oh, needles, and she's gone. But people do that. And that's $300-400. I don't know about you, but when you typically go to the mall, you go because you got to get a new pair of underwear or a shirt or an outfit for something. You don't go expecting to spend $300 or $400 to look better, right, on one little thing. Well, if that's not enough, $3,000 or $4,000, you get these procedures done now. Listen, nothing wrong with it, but people are spending billions of dollars to look good. How many of y'all know about Spanx? Some of y'all are wearing them right now. Just raise your hand. It's okay. I love Spanx. Spanx is great. Spanx is a brand. That's one company. That's not. There's tons of shapewear and all this stuff, but Spanx alone did $1 billion in sales last year. Just last year, they did $1 billion with a B. Like, that's a lot, right? So many times we throw around numbers and we don't take the time to realize how much that really is. But just that alone, things you will never see People spend $1 billion on it. Right? Did y'all know that they have Spanx for men? They do. By the way, totally off topic, but how many guys in the room right now? Guys, raise your hand. Give them guys a hand. So, guys, all right, just real quick, just off topic, but if you're like me and you've tried Spanx for men, raise your hand. Thank you for helping me out, young lady. Felt bad for me. I thought, one team, we talk about this one team thing. Guys, you got to learn that from your wives a little bit more. All right? But hey, I remember when I heard they had Spanx for men, and I went out and bought 3. There's a t-shirt you put on. When I went, I got extra small. I mean, if you're going to go in, y'all ladies laughing. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I mean, I remember getting it home. This is about 5 years ago. It was right when my daughter was born. And I remember just, getting them in the house and opening up one box, and I was just kind of looking at it, wondering how that was going on here. Because it was really small, and I remember my wife walked in, and all of a sudden she got real emotional, and I'm like, oh man, what do I do now? And all of a sudden she had a smile on her face, and I'm still holding it, looking at it. And she goes, such a great dad, you bought Sophie a onesie. I'm like, no baby, this is going on here. And then, like a lot of times with shapewear, you gotta phone a friend to help get it on, right? See, us guys, we just gotta pull it over. We just gotta get it over. But you ladies, you got the hooks and the zippers and the Velcro and you got so much. It's so hard. I mean, you look at those things people go through just to look good. I remember getting it over my head, right? And you get it over and you're just working so hard. You got that one little last bit of belly you're trying to get it over, right? And then you get it over the belly. And you have that moment of pure, utter satisfaction. And then you breathe. What happens? Right back up. Just rolls on. Why do we go through those things? Why do we spend, that shirt was $58. Men's Spanx shirt, nobody ever see, $58. And I bought 3 just to see. You ladies know what I'm talking about. Every time you got an event, you got to go see because you got to buy a dress, right? You buy a dress, and you're wrapping. You're getting there, but you're like, you know what? I need a little extra help, right? You go buy the Spanx just for that particular dress. It's the world we live in. We want to look good because if we look good, we what? Yeah. It's obvious. So now sometimes people go, sometimes just looking at things a little different. Now all of a sudden, that little $25 wrap and cloth you're looking at, you're going, You're not asking, how am I going to make money with that? You're going, it's only $25. And there's a huge demand in the marketplace that people are spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to look good. What if I took this product to the marketplace and it's only $25 and everybody can afford $25, and even if they can't or they don't want to, they're going to try it even if they're skeptical. How many of you tried it and you were skeptical? Right? You did. You were skeptical. You still tried it. You have to because it's only $25. So when you have a product like that and you have a demand that we have in the world, you can absolutely make a lot of money. But as we said, we know you're busy. Life's chaotic. You got kids. You got stuff going on. So we wanted to simplify the process. How many traditional business owners do we have in the room? You own a business outside of it works. That's awesome. Cost a little more than $99 to start, didn't it? Yeah. I mean, it did. And that's just the start. You may have bought a franchise. You may have done something. And you had to go out and find an office space. You had to get tied up in a lease for at least a year, if not 3. You had to maybe hire an employee. You had to figure out whatever product you're going to sell. You got to do the research and development. You got to get an LLC, a corporation. You got to get an accountant. You got to get a tax lawyer. You got to make sure you're legal. You got to register with all the stuff. And that's before you make a dime. Then if you got employees and overhead and light bill and all this, it's amazing what goes into starting a traditional business with the hope that you'll make money. Here, we just say for 99, that's US obviously, but for 99 US, you can start a business. And the company will take care of all the stuff that goes with that. So you get started, you order monthly about 80 BV, $80 US worth of our product that qualifies you for your bonuses. And then if you want to get some extra packages that gives you a good deal, we've got that available for you. Next slide, please. And then what we want you to do, we understand that you don't have time to think in life a lot of times because your business or your life's chaotic. You don't have time to think about a business. So we wanted to simplify it. How many of you have been involved in network marketing, direct sales before it works? So not many, actually, about 20% of the room. So you think about this. You hear about these elusive numbers that people are throwing out all the time. You go, how do I do that? Just tell me how to do that. Like, you really don't care about the other stuff. What really matters is, what do I have to do to make this certain amount of money? And is it possible? You know, if you can answer that question, how much money can I make? What do I have to do to make that money? And is it really possible? That's the only 3 questions you really have to answer for yourself before you say yes to getting started if you're a guest. And if you're already in, just watching the people come before you and knowing exactly what they did to do that. So what we want you to do, our first step is real simple. Join. Right? It's not hard. You just got to say yes. So step 1 in our whole 3-step process is join. This business is very easy. It's very easy. It's very simple to do. The problem is it's very easy not to do. It's very easy to say, oh, it's only $99. You're looking at it wrong. It's like looking at the rat going, it's only $25. How am I going to make money? Instead of looking at it as supply and demand. Right? This is easy to do. You just got to go out and do it. Step 1 can be completed tonight if you're a guest, and then we got 2 left. And then what we want you to do is focus. How many of you already know what you're doing for your 2016 vacation? Anybody? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not a lot of people. What's going on with the rest of y'all? You're not going on vacation? Oh, that's right. We don't plan things. We don't think ahead, right? I couldn't tell you what I'm doing next month, much less 2016. We don't plan ahead as a majority of human beings. We don't think about that far ahead. So as a company, we know that. Because we know that most people, they're wondering what they're going to do this month to pay their light bill. This month to get their kids' school supplies when they go back in September. Tomorrow, what are they going to do when their kid comes home and wants a frozen backpack for school, and those are $20 more than the normal one you were going to buy? That's where people are at. Let's meet them where they're at. Let's not talk about all these other things that are out here that's possible. You'll hear about that in a second, what has been possible right here in your backyard. But let's start. So we say your first 30 days. Your first 30 days, we'll give you one simple assignment. And that's go out and gather 4 loyal customers. How many? 4. You're still with me. Good. Pam talked about loyal customers. Gather 4. And when you do that, you get 120 US in distributor rebate credit. Basically, you can turn it in and you get some free products. How many of y'all love wrapping? I mean, you really love it. It's like a joy, right? Isn't it better when it's free? And it get a little hotter? It's like, oh, it's really working tonight. Yes. A little colder? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff. When it's free. So go out and gather 4 loyal customers your first 30 days. You may be going, where am I going to find 4 loyal customers? 4 people who look in the mirror before they go to work in the morning in the greater Calgary area. Right, was there 2 million people in the greater Calgary area? Right, where am I going to find 4? Right, by the way, there's some people here tonight that they're so passionate about this business, they came 5 hours, 6 hours, 15 hours. Anybody come over 5 hours to get here tonight? What about 10 hours? 15? That's awesome. Like, you think about that. People are passionate about that. So there's people out there that want it. But maybe you're going, you know what? I just don't know anybody who wants to look good. If that's you, well, how many of you have a mobile phone on you right now? Yep. Pull it out. Just go ahead. Some of you already have it out because I see the top of your heads all night already. We have a product called Hair, Skin, and Nails. I can always tell the ones that text, right? Because you see this all night. Then every once in a while, I'll ask a question, they'll be like, and they're still texting. How many of y'all love texting? Like, I love texting. It is so impersonal. I mean, if somebody sends you a text and you just Don't want to talk to them? You can ignore it. And they never really know if you got it. It's like, nope.